be getting started in just a second. And we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, I hope you are doing well and happy holidays. I'm Sami Abasad, Director of Education for T3 Live. Welcome to our weekly video. Let's go ahead and get started. But first, actually, we need to talk about a disclaimer. Disclaimer says trading is risky, and it is true. The disclaimer says whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. If you don't agree with this, exit this video immediately. Otherwise, if you do agree, let's turn on the charts and get started. If you find benefit in today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. We're going to talk about the market, and we'll go over the swing ideas for next week. Market turned all out bullish. I wasn't sure for a while because the market on the weekly chart, the Qs especially, looked a little like it was going to fail on the buy setup. And clearly we triggered last week. I went all out long in both my IRA account and my 401k account. I think we will see the market, the Qs specifically, play catch up to the SPY. The SPY never had any kind of a pullback almost at all-time highs. The Qs did have the pullback, so I think the Qs will start to lead on the way back up and will play catch up to the SPY. We already saw that for 2 days in a row where the Qs went up a lot more than the SPY did. On Thursday, I guess, of last week, I think the Qs went up 2%, the SPY 1% or so. And the day before that also. So I think that we'll start to see some of the tech stocks, the mega cap tech stocks start to do really well, I think, in the coming days and weeks. And the market is back to all out bullish. The small cap, the IWM, Russell 2000, is definitely showing weakness to the Qs and the SPY, but still pretty bullish. So the bias for next week, for me at least, is going to be all out bullish. Okay, now we're going to go over some swing ideas for those logging in joining us a little bit late. If you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, be sure to hit the link in the description below. Okay, link for that is in the description. Also, if you'd like to copy and paste rather than have to type up the list here, it was all copied and pasted for you in the description as well, so below the video. Bullish list, bearish list. Okay, for tomorrow we got, so AIV, I've had it on my watch list for a while now, and I'm not going to be adding more to it because I already added twice. So I already have the AIV, but I still like it higher. Okay, so if I was not already in it, I'd look to get in it over 632. Okay, I'd look to get in over 632. CLF, I'm not in, and I do like it, except that it moved up quite a bit recently. So over 2034, stop under 1898 as a 1, 2, 3 on the daily chart, and the target is written all over it, 25 bucks. That flat 200 on the monthly chart, it goes over like 7 years, 6-7 years almost, and then the prior resistance, as you can see, is around 25 bucks. So this is headed towards $25. The only issue, a couple of them actually that I have with it, is that it's moved up a lot recently. I don't like to be late to the party, but the other issue is this is not a narrow range bar. When I play the 1, 2, 3 setup, the 1, 2, 3 setup is when you have a breakout, and then the second bar is a tiny bar. So this isn't a very tiny bar. But otherwise, I do like it over this bar's high, which is 25.34, stop under 18.98. Okay, for the CLF. CLVS already triggered the buy setup a few days ago. Now, if it takes out 733, it will confirm. It'll be confirming that buy setup that triggered a few days ago. And then target would be about $9 or so on the CLVS. CLVS, actually, if it works as a buy setup, could turn into a long-term trade because the monthly has that transition a breakout setting up on the CLVS. Okay, CYH, I wasn't in it for a while back here. Okay, and once I saw the huge topping tail, I trailed out under $10 or under 978, right there basically. I played it as a breakout, And I knew this is a good long-term play, but I just trailed out, and I'm glad I did, because if I didn't here, I probably would have gotten trailed out somewhere there. And it's back up, and it's at 13.7863. I like it over the base, stop under it, the same as the CLF. 25 bucks is the target. Pretty big target, right? The 200 MA on the monthly chart, that red line, and that resistance right here. So I like the CYH over the base. Okay, stop under it. The DISCK. Now, I'm aware of all these media stocks and some of the Chinese internet companies that collapsed. This is probably the best one that looks the best, at least on the hourly chart. It's not one of the ones that I picked for my account and for the SST newsletter, but this is probably the best looking of the bunch. Over the base, stop under it. Most of them are under the 20 MA on the hourly chart. This is an exception. I mean, we can look at Viacom, it's under the 20. We can look at, I don't know, GSX looks actually lower at this point, but it's down too much. I wouldn't short it. I don't know, TME doesn't really look good. IQ doesn't really look good. VIPS I think is different, and it doesn't look good anyway. So this one is the only one that looks okay, but I'm not really planning. It's not one of the ones that I picked already. Over 37.65, stop under 35.70. I'm just sharing it with you. FREQ, big gap down. Oftentimes they get faded, they get bought, and it started to get bought on last week on Wednesday. Thursday was a pullback day, and if it takes out 987, that would be confirmation. So I like it over 987. Stop either under 911 or 845. Okay, target. I mean, it has unbelievable room to 20 bucks. I mean, it has a lot of room basically. Similar to the FREQ would be the ODT. Very similar. Same exact setup. It started to go on Wednesday. Thursday was kind of a narrow range bar. If it takes out 355, safer over 384, you know, then I like it higher still. Okay, the FREQ and the ODT. Now GDX I have on the list. Just to, I'm not planning to play it on Monday, though it looks okay. Just to mention that gold, I mentioned that last week in last week's video, but I'm reaffirming or confirming my bullish bias on gold and the gold miners. We have a monthly buy setup here on GDX. Okay, so I do like it higher. The daily is a little sloppy, right? Very sloppy. Entry off the monthly would be over 34.48, and then the stop would be under 31.68. So GDX, GLD, similar. There's a bunch of long-term plays that I'm watching right now, like REGN, which is not on the list. Look at the monthly on this. This looks amazing to me. Deep pullback to the rising 20 to minor support. What else? WB looks decent. Transitioned already. I'm just from off the top of my mind. I like YY. WB and YY are both Chinese. So there's a few things that I'm watching long term that look similar to the GDX. Okay, GEVO is a weekly buy setup. Okay, so this is not bad. If it can break over about 1040, 1042, I would say, not bad over 1042 as a weekly buy setup. Okay, slash breakout. GSM, I was in it a couple times and was in it when it broke out, but I ended up getting out, and I think this is still good. See that transition A breakout on the monthly, and now we have a bottoming tail. So it just needs to take out 415. Yeah, 415. Stop would be under 316, or more aggressive would be under 348 on the GSM. Long-term play. ICPT, I played it short twice. Over here, short, the breakdown worked. The sell setup here did not work. Okay, and as you can see, it went up, and now it's looking like it wants to transition higher. If you look at the monthly chart, the stock dropped from 500 bucks to 21 or so, and basically double bottomed at the all-time low, almost double bottomed. So it looks kind of interesting. You have a double bottom on the monthly, and you have a transition A on the daily. So looks good, looks decent over 25, 27 with a target, with the target being about 38 bucks on the ICPT as a pharmaceutical. Again, nice transition on the daily, and the target is around, let's say 36 bucks right here for about about exactly 50% gain basically on the ICPT. Has a base breakout off the daily chart right here. Stop right there. Of course, safer stop would be down here, but that would be bigger. And target around 42. Very simple. It's just a daily base breakout off the rising 20 period moving average. Okay. IVR is a real estate stock. Like it. I like the AIV more, but I like it more on the weekly chart. As you can see, it's a weekly breakout. I played it also, and I don't know, I played like, I feel like 2 or 3 times, and it just wouldn't go. And so I'm not planning to replay it, but it looks good still over 415. IVR. LKNCY is an OTC stock, but had a daily buy setup, and now has a breakout over 925. So if it takes out 925, looks kind of good. Over the base, stop under it, and the target, the prior high, $11 or so. Okay, on the LKNCY. We talked about the ODT already, similar to the almost the same as the FREQ. OEG is similar to the GEVO, but maybe slightly better, at least in terms of reward to risk. It's a weekly buy setup, and there's a couple entries. One is over 922 with a stop under 575. There's another entry over 980, 979. That would be safer, but bigger stop. And target, that resistance over here. So it's a weekly buy setup. Looks good. Similar to the GEVO. Very similar. PRTA, I also played it a couple times. Was in it when it broke out. And I got out. And it looks higher still. It's similar to the GSM. Very similar setup. That breakout, transition A breakout on the monthly chart. So over here, if you look at the GSM, same exact. And so PRTA looks higher still. I'd like to get back in it over 24, 25, 75. With the stop being either under the green bar or under this red bar. The first stop right here would be tighter, but more aggressive, obviously wider under 21.75, but you give the stock a lot more room to work in your favor. You give it a lot more wiggle room, and so a lot less likely to get shaken out. Last but not least is the PTMN, and it's just a daily base breakout, but I just realized it's extremely thin. It's very low volume, okay, but it's a daily base breakout. In terms of the shorts, here they are. We got 3 only. CTIC had a gap down, bearish gap down on Thursday. Really big top, big base above. The bigger the top, right? The bigger the drop. The only issue with it is Thursday's gap. Friday was a holiday, so Thursday's gap was a secondary offering. So it wasn't a real gap, it was a secondary offering. At the same time, I still like it short under 248 with a stop over 258. It's literally 10 cents. I think it's 10 cents. Yeah, 10 cent stop. And then GOEV, it's a little confusing when you have GEVO and then GOEV on the list. Luckily, one is bearish, the other is bullish. This had a gap down last week, and it still looks lower, under 850. Okay, stop over 972. Also has a lot of resistance above with no support below. So this looks lower. And then RMO also similar gap, down a lot. It looks like it's going to 0. I mean, it's just down a lot, and looks lower under 820. It doesn't have a clean, clear base on the hourly chart. So I'd like to see it base one more day and then short it, but it still looks lower. So that's my short bearish watch list. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did and you'd like to support our channel, please be sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions, reach out to us, info@t3live.com, And if you're a subscriber of mine, I've already updated the newsletter for tomorrow. You can take a peek at it if you'd like and get the list of plays that I will be taking in my own account, and that I've published for the newsletter. Or if you'd like to just wait for the newsletter to go out in the morning, it will hit your inbox before 8 o'clock East Coast time tomorrow. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the day off, and or enjoy the Easter if you celebrate Easter. And I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Ciao.